Greetings, listeners. Howard and I spoke with a very special guest. He is the principal attorney in charge of a law firm owned and operated by a Big Four accounting firm. We discussed his career journey in government, public accounting, and now leading the first Arizona ABS U.S. law firm owned by a big accounting CPA firm. We discussed his firm and team culture, use of technology, who succeeds at the firm, and the market opportunity to keep pace with hyperscalers, and more. Enjoy. Welcome, everyone, to the Future is Bright podcast. My name is Chris Batz, joined by my co-host, Howard Rosenberg. Howard and I are at the Center of Law Firm Talent and Strategic Growth here in New York City. Howard is a partner and the head of talent intelligence and acquisitions at Batz and Brunel, and I advise and facilitate corporate law firm mergers at Columbus Street. Today, we have a very exciting guest, Tom Greenaway, principal of KPMG Law US. Tom, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks, Chris. It's an honor to be here on The Future is Bright.
Tom, please give my audience a quick understanding of your career journey from IRS to KPMG and then now to KPMG Law.
Yeah, sure, Chris. So I started my career, as you said, at IRS as a trial attorney for the IRS in the Office of Chief Counsel in California. Moved back to the East Coast to be closer to family and joined KPMG in 2008, so quite a while ago. And I grew up from a manager at KPMG through to partner in 2015, serving clients in tax controversy roles, but a purely administrative role, of course, because at that time, KPMG did not have the capacity to practice law. I also served as a lead tax partner and in some other roles here at the firm. And just about 2 years ago, I was asked to help stand up KPMG Law US.
And I'm just kind of curious, what drew you to KPMG? So you're at the Internal Revenue Service, you're a lawyer. Why KPMG?
So KPMG offered me a really great platform to grow my career, as it has, many other folks. And what I've found to be true over the years is I've never taken the same lap twice. We certainly work with the same clients and many of the same opportunities, but as a professional, of course, the ability to grow and change within KPMG is almost infinite.
Yeah. And it's really fun to see your career. So you're government, public accounting, and then you've shifted into leadership and more of an operator entrepreneurial role within KPMG Law. Was that your desire, or did they see something in you and tapped you on the shoulder? Tell us a little bit about that journey of stepping into this new role.
Yeah, well, Chris, KPMG is a really entrepreneurial place. It may not seem like it from the outside. Of course, we're a very large organization with a global network. But the people I admired and the people who succeeded at KPMG were the ones who had that entrepreneurial mindset, and that's really is encouraged here at KPMG. And so when the opportunity arose for me to help out with the build of this brand new startup inside the KPMG network, I jumped at it. It's something, of course, KPMG and others have been thinking about for a long time, having the Big Four or a member of the Big Four enter the U.S. legal services market. And so it's exciting to be part of that process.
And Tom, if I can kind of go back, I just love to hear what was the driving force to kind of be going to law school? Because you're obviously at one of the Big Four, quite a kind of, not a typical kind of career path for a lawyer. Just would love to hear your thoughts on what was the driver to get to law school.
Yeah, so Howard, now you're going a long way back at this point.
I am going a long way back.
But so it's an important question for me. I was actually working in construction before I went to law school for my wife's family business, heavy and highway construction, putting up road signs along the highways in Connecticut. And my father-in-law, not an attorney, but had a deep passion for contracts, as you can imagine in construction. If it's in scope, that's the contractor's problem. If it's out of scope, then that brings the possibility of a change order. So understanding contracts and understanding contracts as basically the skeleton of how business works and the framework of how we organize our businesses is something that really brought me to law school. I wanted to know more about that. I actually took as I mentioned in the beginning, took a little bit of a detour into litigation, which I really did enjoy. But it's kind of interesting and ironic that all these years, decades later, I'm finding myself back in the heart of the land of contracts.
Well, so as a former architect, I think I still have PTSD on change orders, so I can definitely sympathize on that side of the equation, Tom. So on the contract side, like what are you seeing now in the marketplace? Like what's, if you kind of fast forward to today, what's top of mind in terms of the contracts landscape?
Yeah, and so I'll come back to contracts, but Howard, what we're seeing in legal services in the U.S. and around the world is that our business clients are moving at a velocity and at a volume that traditional legal service providers struggle to keep up with. And the reason for that is, of course, our businesses have transformed themselves over and over and over again with the benefit of technology and innovations and networks and cultural changes. Whereas, and certainly law has done that as well, but just not to the degree, at least with some industries and some sectors and some businesses. So we continue to see a gap in the market where those client needs, especially at volume and at scale and at pace, are not being adequately served by the existing market participants.
So can you talk a little bit more about what that sweet spot is in the marketplace, in particular with the KPMG enterprise?
Sure, and I'll use an example. So I was visiting with another one of my partners with a major Wall Street bank a couple of weeks ago, and talking with our client there, and the client said, "We're being asked to do more and more and more. We're not getting incremental headcount in the law department, in the finance department, in the tax department, and any of those support functions in the business. We're not given huge tech budgets, nor do we really want to be going out and buying point solutions for the law department or the tax department or the finance department. But we still are being asked to serve the business needs, which only increase. So we need a partner to help us with that effort." So it's a combination of the technology platforms, it's a combination of the managed service assist, and that's true in banking. We see it in tech. We see it really across a bunch of different sectors.
So, if I understand you correctly, Tom, that KPMG Law is able to keep pace with clients. If not that, it's anticipating the needs of and using technology to deliver legal services in an efficient way. Is that safe to say?
Yeah, and we benefit, of course, from the investments that we've made over the past decades in allowing us to serve clients at scale and at speed. And if you think about our existing businesses, our advisory businesses, our consulting businesses, our tax businesses, that's what we do. So it's a culture of teaming. It's certainly a series of networks, local networks, national networks, global networks, and the technology is important as well. It's important to spend significant amounts of capital building those technology platforms and teaming. And this is another dimension of the teaming with tech companies like Microsoft, like Google, like ServiceNow, like Salesforce, and go to market together with them to build solutions for our clients.
Tom, when we were working with you to kind of build out this podcast episode, you said something I thought was very fascinating, which is how technology is changing almost everything, and that how you are measuring your people in the use of AI. Can you elaborate on that? What that is like in the environment at the firm right now?
Sure, and this is and given how quickly things are changing, I very much appreciate the investments that our firm made, at this point 3 years ago, and that's probably a good way to pick up the story. We made a significant investment with Microsoft at that time, and I think it was more than 2 years ago, gave 50,000 seat licenses to Copilot to our people and encourage them to use and explore Copilot and to build prompts and to build personas. And so now we have libraries, thousands of people, of course, using Copilot and other AI tools, and building libraries of these prompts that can be then stitched together into personas. And so this is happening. It has been happening for a while, and as you can imagine, inside an accounting firm, we like to measure things. And so one of our KPIs is now how much are people engaging with those AI tools that the firm made significant investments to deliver to our people and to our clients. So it only makes sense that we're asking our folks to use them.
And Tom, with the advancement of AI coming into the profession, and obviously with the investment that KPMG has made, do you have thoughts about the likely shape of how your the staffing needs of some of these assignments and working with clients are going to be going forwards in the days to come?
Yeah, so we have nobody knows what the future holds, but we certainly see the tools that we have today and the tools that we will have tomorrow freeing up our professionals to do more important work. So some of the administrative tasks and the repetitive tasks that could be suitable for automation or for AI tools to assist in getting us closer to the heart of the matter. That will allow our people to spend more time, and more importantly, our clients to spend more time on the real issues that matter. So
do you anticipate hiring fewer number of newly qualified attorneys coming into the profession, the firm, or is that something you just can't really you just don't know what's going to happen yet?
Yeah, I don't think we can say right now. It's certainly a disruptive time, and we talk to folks, at all stages of the career journey. And I have a special concern for folks who are coming out of law school now, or it's a very disruptive time, and I appreciate that there's some caution on the hiring side. But our view is that we are one of the change agents that's lowering the unit cost of delivering legal services. And you would think fundamental economics would say if you're lowering the unit cost, demand is going to go up. And I think that's what's going to happen. So we will be able to cover more ground as lawyers, as attorneys. And if demand goes up, we'll probably have, I don't know if we'll have more or fewer attorneys in general, but those attorneys will be doing more. Each attorney will be doing more with the benefit of all the networks and the technologies that we're enabling them with.
Do you think that the skill set will change? Because I would imagine one of the attractions of working in the KPMG platform is that it could be a multidisciplinary approach to solving clients' issues, right? And so, in addition to lawyers, you could have data scientists, you could have analysts. Is there anything you can tell us about that?
Yeah, sure, Howard. And that's the benefit of our platform and our multidisciplinary model. We listen to our clients. And if our clients say we need folks in a certain geography, well, we can deliver folks in that geography. If they say we need folks with a certain skill set, then those are the teams that we can stand up. And that certainly holds true for professional certifications or training. We have economists, we have data scientists, we have, of course, accountants. We have lawyers, we have any number of professionals. And that's pretty fun inside of KPMG to be able to pull those teams together and in service of our client needs.
And Tom, what is part of that acquisition strategy in the US in terms of as you kind of grow out the platform? How are you going to try to do that going forward?
So Howard, one of the wonderful things about operating a startup inside of KPMG is all the support we have. So we have significant, of course, financial resources, thanks to the 2,400 partners at KPMG. We're a very strong organization from a balance sheet perspective, so that's great. We have a wonderful distribution network. Right? We can talk to many clients all around the world. We can serve those clients in many different jurisdictions. So we're quite an attractive platform. But coming back to the cultural point, and we absolutely will have inorganic growth. The market, I think, and our ambitions just demand it. We need to balance that growth strategy with that cultural point I mentioned. So we want to make sure that everybody who comes aboard understands that they're coming onto the KPMG platform, and we want to make sure we're preserving that culture as we go. This culture will certainly change, and certainly serving as an attorney in KPMG Law US is not going to be exactly the same as serving as, let's just say, a tax accountant in KPMG LLP. But there are absolutely values we share, and teaming and the culture is one of them.
And so, are you trying to? Again, I'm just going to. Are you trying to find smaller firms in the marketplace and kind of ideal cities in the U.S. that would kind of service that kind of model going forward?
Well, yeah, we're pretty focused in our service areas. We want to make sure we stay focused on what we think we can, how we can serve the market best. So we are absolutely looking at professionals and teams who can help us with our legal managed service offerings, with some of our corporate secretary work, and some of the the greenfield potential for us. For instance, IP management. IP management, I think, as I talk to attorneys and other professionals and clients are asking their IP professionals to come to market with a technology platform that allows clients to operate those IP portfolios in a modern way. And that's something we're hoping to build. We appreciate that that's, in terms of subject matter expertise, something that's not native to KPMG. So we'll most likely have to go into the market to find it. At least, and I should say, not native to KPMG here in the US. We have excellent IP practices elsewhere in the global network in Europe and other places.
Tom, just to get to a subject that tends to float among people who are lawyers and big law firms, what's one misconception you wish people understood about KPMG Law or the Big Four legal model, or just Big Four in general?
Yeah, I think, and we've said this before, but I'm happy to say it again, we absolutely want to fill gaps in the market. We have wonderful partnerships today with many large law firms. We go to market together. We have alliance partnerships, whether that's on the transactional side or on the operational side with, for instance, employment law and immigration law and other domains. We see a room for everybody in this market. And as I said, the place we're trying to operate in is pretty open to us. And so we're looking to team with existing law firms and really just put our minds together to think, how can we serve our clients the best? And oftentimes these are mutual clients. So again, if we're thinking about this market expanding, there's room for lots of growth.
And do you think that the firm is well placed and that I think we're kind of all experiencing kind of rapid market consolidation, what's happening in the news? Is that a good thing or a bad thing for KPMG going forward?
Oh, I don't know that we have a view on, you're talking about law firm consolidation? Yeah, I don't know that we have a view on it necessarily. I mean, just to say it, we participate, as KPMG LLP participates in helping some of our law firm clients with those transactions. We help from a deal side and an integration perspective, and that just helps explain the breadth of our practice. But of course, any of the work that our professionals do on those transactions is completely separate from the work that we're doing at KPMG Law US.
Tom, holding a magic ball in front of you and saying, can you predict the future? Where do you think the legal industry is going to move towards? Obviously, you're not just legal, you multidisciplinary, you guys do a lot of things, including consulting and accounting and attestation services, but things are evolving rapidly in professional services. There's definitely convergence taking place, and you guys are a part of that. 5-10 years out, should What will be changing, or should we be thinking differently about how this is being done?
So the thing that we see emerging now, and I think this trend has significant momentum, is those hyperscalers that I mentioned at the beginning of our conversation: Microsoft, ServiceNow, Google, Salesforce, and others already are the platforms upon which most of business is conducted. And the relative weight of those is not for me to say, but the idea of law departments and law firms using relatively isolated tech point solutions to engage with those larger platforms, I think that's something that will change and is changing right now. But over time, I think you're going to see a convergence towards these larger platforms being the place where legal services are rendered. And firms are really going to need to be able to engage with those platforms from a technology perspective. As an attorney, I can't prescribe to my client the tech tools she should use. And I think that's going to be true for law firms in general.
And at the same time, I think what you said earlier, I think that you're trying to, lower the unit costs with some of this transactional activity. And I think from what Chris and I have been seeing in the marketplace and talking to other leaders in the space, is that obviously there's a huge pressure on rates across the entire firm. And I think you seem to be well positioned to kind of harness that, and given your kind of value proposition in the marketplace, it sounds like.
Yeah, we certainly do, hourly work. We'd prefer not to. And again, this is something we haven't really talked about, but this is a very important part of our culture and the way we operate as a business, is we take a very long-term view with respect to client relationships. We make significant investments in those relationships over time, and we're willing to make continued investments in those relationships. So what that means is, if a client has a bucket of work that needs doing from a legal perspective, the conversation we want to have is, okay, well, how much are you spending on it today? And let's talk about whether or not we can come to an agreement that we'll just take that entire bucket of work as a managed service and give you significant savings, double-digit savings. That's not an hourly conversation. And of course, the incentive is then aligned with KPMG and the client for us to keep finding further efficiencies in the business model.
So this is a lift and shift kind of an approach, where you're looking for volume and repeatable work, obviously with the arbitrage of the rate structure, but trying to sort of give maximum value to clients doing that kind of work.
Right. Yeah, that's one way to do it, but there's obviously others. But I guess our perspective is, as hours are coming out of the system, and they are coming out of the system, right? There are fewer billable hours in the system. It doesn't make sense to try to raise the price on that. Why try to raise the price on a diminishing asset?
Very good, Tom. So appreciate your time today. Please finish this sentence for me. The future is bright because.
Well, Chris, the future is bright because there is a huge amount of change underway. I mean, it can be scary at times, but I think in general, it's wonderful to live in a time with so much change. I'm fortunate enough to be in the midst of a lot of it, as my teammates here at KPMG Law are as well. So things are looking pretty bright, Chris. Thanks for the question.
Yeah. And then how can people find you, reach you, follow you on social media?
Yeah, so Chris, I'm on LinkedIn, just Tom Greenaway, and KPMG Law US, of course, is also on LinkedIn. So feel free to reach out to us there.
And Tom, it's been an honor and pleasure. Thank you for your time today.
Yeah, likewise, Chris and Howard. I mean, this is a really important conversation, and I'm glad you're giving it the perspective it needs.
Thank you for coming on the podcast, Tom. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Howard.